complicated in terms of our analysis. And for our first pass, we wanted to.
Hey everyone, so as you can see, I am here at the Canadian Real Estate Association annual conference, and you can see the room, lots of activity. The breaking news that came out from this meeting is why I'm stopping and doing this breaking news process. I thought it was important to be able to get it out to you right away. No other realtor, of course, in the city of Windsor will have this data. But what's going on, and what was very interesting as I go over and find a spot just to sit down so that I'm out of the way of everything. First thing is, what am I doing up here? So because I'm on the Windsor Real Estate Board, there's two trips that we have to take. Coming up here is this one, and then going to the Toronto meeting is the other one. So the breaking news today came from the Canadian Real Estate Association's economics guy, basically. And what he was showing us was charts of where the Canadian real estate market is and what he is watching. And this is kind of projections for what's going to be going on. And as a finance guy, I like projections. That's why I wanted to do this video right away. So what's going on is average selling price of a house across Canada has leveled off. It had been as high as $800,000 in the middle of the pandemic. And we all know that. We know that the market was going crazy at that point in time. And then average selling price or average value of a house across Canada has leveled off and has dropped and leveled off to about $730,000. Why that is important is that there was about a 22% increase in pricing points through the pandemic, and then about a 10% give back to that value. What is very interesting is that if you plot out the value of the Canadian housing market and you look at the correlation to the Canadian stock market, you'll find that it's very similar. That the stock market was down about 22%, and that it leveled off and came back about 10% to be down about 12% for the year. So you're seeing a lot of the same demographic or a lot of the same trend line in Canadian real estate as you're seeing in Canadian stocks and bonds, or at least Canadian stocks. The other good news about that is that we have no inventory across Canada. He showed us the seller's market charts, and we're still in a very, very solid seller's market because we just don't have any inventory. And so when I've been reporting to you that we're building a little bit of inventory, I've just simply been saying that, but this gentleman here today, and that's the breaking news, was saying that it's actually good that we're building a little bit of inventory because we have no inventory. We need the inventory to be able to come onto the market for people to be able to have places to be able to buy so that they can go back to buying. Additionally, he pointed out that if we start to see upticks in demand in the Vancouvers and the Torontos of the Windsor of the Canadian market, then average selling price for a house in Canada can shoot above that $730,000 mark where we're at right now, and will then push the average selling price in Canada for a house up back above $800,000 again. So he was pointing out that seeing the leveling off and the actual increase, we leveled up about 730 and then went up to about 735 the next month. That little move up and a little bit of inventory hitting the market is actually a good thing for our market. So it's what the economist was pointing out. Having a few days supply of houses is not a bad problem as long as you don't have a ton of days supply of houses. I've been talking to people from North Bay and other areas across the province of Ontario, and they're all reporting the same thing, that they're seeing stability in their markets. They're seeing that, average selling prices, of course, increasing, which is making affordability a very, very big issue all across their markets. There are realtors from all over the province here, and I've been talking with, as part of my responsibility for the board, talking with those agents as well too, and getting a little bit of data about their markets. They're all reporting that there's a few extra days of supply, but that average selling price is increasing, making affordability a huge problem across the province, a huge problem across Canada. And that was exactly what the Economist was saying here today too, was that, yes, it's a robust market, but yes, there's a massive problem with affordability for those people at the lower end of the market. That's what we're seeing, of course, in the city of Windsor as well too. Single family homes, if you are looking for a single family home, I really need $400,000 to be able to buy you a decent single family home. We can possibly get something less, but what you'll see is that the difference between, say, a $375,000 house in the city of Windsor to a $410,000 house in the city of Windsor, it's a massive difference from a livability score and from a not needing renovation score. And so that's why I always point out that, hey, we can go buy a $370,000 house, but you're going to need to do a lot of renovation to it. Whereas if we go buy a $410,000 or $420,000 house, if we get you approved for that, that one, we're going to have a better chance of winning, and then two, we'll be able to pick a better house. There is a big difference in the city of Windsor in those lower priced houses, and that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 toggle makes a big difference. I have a listing coming up on Josephine on the 1st of May, and it's a beautiful, stunning home that's been completely rebuilt, just lovingly rebuilt, stunningly rebuilt, and it's going to hit the market at $299, and it probably has a market value of somewhere around $370 to $385. It's probably not a $400, but because of the demand for beautiful houses in our market, that will push the pricing point to that $375 to $380 mark, and it could possibly push it closer to $400 just because of how the market is working. So I wanted to give you that update. It was all good news from looking at the housing market from the Economist's perspective, and we will see where we go to from here. As he points out, building up some inventory is not a problem. It's actually a good thing because we've had ultra low inventory for a very, very long time. And so we'll keep an eye on that inventory level. I asked him, what is a concern? And he pointed out if we had, say, 200 additional units, then all of a sudden think of it as a percentage requirement. So if we were running about 580 houses of inventory, if we had a 20% pop, so if we had about 140, 160 added on, so if we were up to 580, 680, 770 all of a sudden, then there's a little bit more of a worry that something else is going on the market. So we're going to keep our eye on that. Hope that helps. The market in the city of Windsor is exceptionally dynamic and exceptionally strong. Just wanted to relay that to you from a breaking news perspective, since I'm here in Ottawa at the Canadian Real Estate Association conference, and just got done listening to the chief economist of the Canadian Real Estate Association give his breakdown, and it was actually pretty good news for all of us that own homes. Thanks for tuning in. Always fun to share with you the latest breaking news data. It's what I do. Have a great day. Bye-bye.